User function buttons are a powerful tool for getting the required function or effect exactly where you want it on your panel. User function buttons, or UFBs, can be either in blocks of 12, or there are dedicated UFBs on the transition module, and they're also available as an option on ME bus strips. They have colour OLED displays built in, which can show text or images. As well as attaching macros to UFBs, almost any switcher function can be cloned onto a UFB using the copy clone function. User function buttons on USR or ATM modules have 12 OLED buttons. There are 10 layouts, each with 8 pages of buttons. That's 960 in all. In addition to being user function buttons, each page can be set to a variety of other uses. This is the normal USR module. The white buttons across the top select which of the 8 pages is in use. Below are the 12 OLED user function buttons. The ATM module is similar, but the page buttons include a display to show what function is set to each page. To set up each page function, you need to go to the user function page in panel config, which is GUI page 88571 on the external GUI, or page 8853 on the panel GUI. First, select the type of module you're using, either USR or ATM. Each layout can have its own unique configuration of pages. Select the layout you wish to configure. You can then set the functions for each of the 8 pages in that layout. The default setup for layout A is to have the first 4 pages set to be DMEM, DVEMEM, Media Store, and GMEM, but any of these can be reassigned. The next 4 buttons are all user function buttons. Layouts B to J are set to have all 8 pages as user function buttons as default, but again any of these can be changed. To change the layout on each module, push and hold a white user function page button and select the layout required. To change the assignment of a page button, first select that button on the GUI page. Then scroll down the list to select the one that you want. Let's have a look at each option. Macro Clone Snapshot. This allows each button to be available for macro and clone attachment, and also snapshot save and recall. To attach a macro, go to the Macro Assign page on the GUI, menu 76. Select the required macro and hit the Attach button. The panel will pulse, and whichever button you hit next will have that macro attached to it. On the UFBs, the OLED display will show the macro file number, macro name, or if your macro has been saved with a bitmap, it will show that. To attach a clone, find the function you want to clone from the GUI or panel and hit the Copy Clone button. Whilst this is flashing, hit the required function. In this mode, the function will not be initiated, but it will be saved in a temporary clipboard. To paste this function onto a button, hit the Paste Clone button. You are now presented with a pop-up giving various options for the function to be pasted. Follow ME gives you the option either to have a direct clone of the original button, or to use the cloned function on whichever ME is selected on your UFB panel. Follow Bus similarly allows clone functions to be used on different buses. Normally the clone function would be on, but it is possible to turn this off where you might simply want a lamp indication without having an active button. Where you're pasting on a normal panel button, which has its own function, you may not want the normal function at all, so you can turn this off. The lamp on the button can either come from the clone function or from the normal button function. If you have a clone on a button which already has a macro attached to it, you can decide which of the 2 bitmaps is shown. At the bottom, you can inhibit snapshot saves on a UFB. Once you're happy with these settings, hit the desired UFB button and your clone will be pasted onto that button. Snapshots are single ME memories which can be saved on the Macro Clone Snapshot pages. Simply push and hold any blank button to save a snapshot. Snapshots use the same enable settings as DMEMs, So if you want to change them, select your enables on the DMEM Save pad before saving. Snapshots can have effects dissolves added to them by going to the Snapshots page in the filing system, menu 1807. On the panel config user function GUI page, you have the option to cut, copy or paste any macro or clone attachment between any button on any page or layout. ME Memory. This is a pad for dialing in DMEM memory numbers. Dial in the DMEM number and hit the load button. To select the ME, simply hold down the white page button and push the desired ME number. If the module is configured to be in the same group as an ME bank, it will show current ME. It then follows whichever ME you've selected on your ME bank, which is sometimes called a stripe. DVE Memory. As with DMEMs, you dial in the number and hit load. Again, holding down the page button allows you to select the required DVE. Media Store. These pages work in the same way. Hold down to select the store, dial in the number, and hit load. GMEMs also work in exactly the same way, although there's no need to hold down the page button. E-key. This turns your module into a controller for the EQs, giving you direct control from the panel. ME DVE. This works the same way as before, but gives you the option to use one page for both DMEMs and DVE MEMs. Hold down the page button to change mode. ME Number Pad. This gives a pad for single push control of DMEMs. In this mode, you have access to all 1000 DMEMs, with them grouped into sets of 10 for single push control. To set the DMEM range, hold down the bottom right range button and dial in the first 2 digits of the DMEM. So, if you want the range which includes DMEM 1, 2, 3, hold down the range button and dial in 1, 2. It will then give you all 10 DMEMs in the range from 120 to 129. To save a DMEM, simply hold down an unused button until the number lights. To recall a DMEM, just hit the button. DMEMs can be saved as an effects dissolve by lighting this button before holding down the button to save. These memories are then marked with an X in the top right hand corner to show that they are saved with an effects dissolve. If you want to recall a DMEM as an effects dissolve when it hasn't been stored with one, simply light this button before recalling the DMEM. Similarly, this would also inhibit an effects dissolve if one is contained in the file. This only applies to one specific recall, and it will not change the state of the file itself. You also have the ability to resave DMEMs by holding down the effects dissolve resave key. The bottom left button now changes to say resave. While you're holding it down, hit the DMEM you want to resave to. You can also hold down the effects dissolve resave key and toggle between resave and delete using the bottom right button. This allows you to delete a DMEM permanently from the filing system. Again, holding down the white page buttons allows you to select the ME bank you're working on. To set the enables for a save or to override them on recall, double hitting the white page button will bring a pop-up on the external GUI giving access to all the enables. DVE Number Pad. This works in exactly the same way for DVE memories. Store Number Pad. This works in the same way for Media Store Recall, but it also shows an image of the file on the OLED button. The Timeline page gives you the buttons for creating and editing timelines, with some extra functions accessed by holding down the white page button. User function setups are saved in panel config files under the user function enable. You can also use the Save pad, menu 10, to save panel config files with the user function enable. Whichever type of user function modules you have in your panel, they give you flexible access to virtually any function on your Kahuna. And user function panels can also be added to a Cooler or Masterpiece panel, giving you all the same features.